Is it your first time here in Des Moines?
It is. Yeah.
Have you been able to go out and do things?
Sort of, kind of, not really. It's, you're at a con, and after spending all day, you're just like, I'm gonna go and walk around like the neighboring area and see what there is to eat. It's very quiet here.
Yeah, it is.
Like eerily, I was just like, oh man, like coming in during rush hour, and I'm like, oh, there is no car pollution.
Yeah,
There is
no.
no like noise traffic or
Nope.
noise pollution rather. Sorry. Yeah, no, but the people that I've interacted with have been phenomenal. Everyone has been fantastic. And y'all have some pretty decent food.
Yeah, have you gone to, I always hear about Zombie Burger.
Everyone mentions Zombie Burger. Everybody mentions Fong's for pizza. And then, the lovely catering and all the good stuff.
Yeah, it's good. Have you gone to Zombie Burger yet?
Not yet. No.
Okay.
There's a place called Buzzard Billy's, I think. That's like somewhere here. It's got some really big mozzarella sticks, so I would recommend checking those out. But
Mozzarella sticks are always the best, but like, at what point do mozzarella sticks become too big?
None. No.
Never. The limit does not
Only
exist.
if you're a coward.
That's fair. That is a good point.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Mozzarella sticks with mozzarella or dry? What do you think?
It depends on the mood. I'm not. Look, I'm not here to look down upon anyone. Your preference is your preference, and it may not be my preference in the moment. Sometimes I go in dry. Sometimes I get a little wet.
Yeah, that's fair. I like that.
Yeah.
Never say never to anything.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, it's nice to meet you on stage. I'm so sorry about that earlier.
No,
by the way.
it's really.
No.
Normally, I would shut the hell up and be
No.
like, "We're gonna roll with it," but I'm like, "Hold on,
No.
I really am not in any of those things,"
Yep,
and
yep.
people are about
As
to be
you
really
should.
confused.
As you should. So I'm going to wake up in a cold sweat and for the next 6 months and be like, do you remember that one time? It's okay.
Little did you know, this isn't even happening. This is all
This is a
dream.
simulation.
This
This
is-
is the nightmare.
You're gonna wake up from this right here.
Oh my goodness. Well, hopefully
You've dozed off.
You've been too nice though, so now it's like a happy dream. So
It's great.
It's good.
Look, I'm here for a good time. Okay, I'm not.
Exactly.
We're about good vibes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, tell me how you got your start with voice acting. What inspired you to start your career?
Realizing that I was short and fat.
Out of here.
So-
Where?
So semi-jokingly, I was in college. I was never a thespian growing up or any of that stuff. And when I got to college, that's when I started exploring, taking electives. I took economics, psychology, theater, et cetera, and dabbling in theater is what kind of started opening up my interest in acting. And so during the summer, I ended up taking a couple of electives, acting for non-majors, improv, and that's when I was like, you know what? Like, I kind of really, really like this. Maybe there's something here. Let me preface by saying I came in as an engineer. So being very, very like logical and being like, there needs to be like a path. I told myself I would audition to get into the acting program. If I got in, then I would take that as a sign that I should try pursuing this career. If I didn't, I'm not even going to entertain this idea at all. We're going to stick with whatever math science related thing we're going to do. But I got in, so that's how I got into theater. And then in terms of the voiceover, it really was, I'm short and I'm fat, looking at myself in a mirror, very self-deprecating.
You're very handsome.
Thank
Stop.
you. I didn't say I was ugly. I just said I was short and fat.
You're bringing yourself down, I feel.
Just a little bit. Just a little. Well, I'm 5'5". Everything is down. I'm just saying.
I'm 5'2". You know what? You're tall to somebody out there.
But, my friends / roommates, they'd be playing video games in the living room, watching cartoons. And it kind of like made me realize almost like instantly, like, wait a second, like voice acting is a branch of acting. This is something that I can do where I'm not limited by my physical appearance. It's something that I can, as long as I have the voice for it, I can do it. And so that's when I kind of like started shifting gears where it's like, okay, I'm learning all the theater stuff, but the intent is to get into VO.
Sure, that makes sense. And it's nice, I feel, because as opposed to other types of acting, voice acting doesn't really have a shelf life. I
Right.
would say if you have a role, you can continue to do that role for a really long time.
No, for sure. And like the really really nice thing about voiceover, unless something drastic happens to your voice, you can maintain playing the same vocal range for a very long time. Much longer than, being limited by your physical appearance. And uh camera actors get this part too, which is, no matter what, there's always going to be a character that fits your voice. Let's say that it does deepen, let's say that it gets raspier, textured, uh older, then you just graduate into a different class of characters is all. There's always something out there, which is, I think, the really really nice thing about not even just voice acting, but acting in general. It's like there is always going to be a role that needs to be filled that you can fill.
Yeah, I agree. And there's so many facets of voice acting that a lot of people don't know, as opposed to just anime or cartoons that a lot of people immediately think of when they think of voice acting. There's commercial work and obviously video games. There's audiobooks, e-learning that people don't know about. Have you ever delved into those?
Yeah, no, I've done everything. Because at the end of the day, very few people actually get to make a living doing just one subsect of the field. Um, and also, even without that, like, you just increase the amount of money you can make by being able to do multiple things. I mean, you'll hear it a lot, but commercials where the real moneymaker is, especially if you book some sort of campaign or whatever. If you're the new Toyota campaign, or whatever voice thing it is. That's buco bucks right there.
That's what I've heard. That's shocking to me because, like, you'd think commercial people would just pull people, but I've heard that you do make the most money in commercials.
Yep. Especially if you are just known as like the voice, or you are, consistently the thing. Like, I mean, I feel like I've seen like, or I feel like I've heard the same Domino's voice tell me the same, like, 2 for $7.99, whatever, like since I've been like a kid. So, and you'll get mascots even, right? Like the Geico lizard, or whoever. It's just like, yeah, like if you can get like a big thing in a commercial thing, like you are set. People don't know this about me, but I was the voice of Six Flags for 2023.
So cool.
Yeah, so it's like that year, most of my money actually came from doing Six Flags commercials. It's like the all new Platinum Plus pass. It's like
Six Flags paying the bills.
Legitimately, you go in, crank out a few scripts, and an hour later, I come out with a few K, and I'm like, all right, so this is what these people are talking about. Yeah. But I think the while it is good to dabble in everything, obviously the folks that you come here and you see in panels or on the show floor, or you're just your favorite actors in general. When you get really, really good at a niche, and not even niche, but like a genre or like a medium, obviously this is where you will continually see people work over and over and over. And in my case, I am very clearly in the anime video game field. I'm constantly brought in for those, types of work. And, while commercial is always going to be there for me to be able to dabble into, most of my hours is spent in the thing that I have kind of like puzzle pieced myself into.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So usually when we have these panels, we always have one aspiring voice actor that would love to have any sort of advice that you have for them. Do you have any advice for any aspiring voice actor?
Yeah, don't.
It's a little difficult. I feel like it's changed too over time.
So jokes aside, the standard answer that you're going to hear everyone give, which sounds like a cop-out, but I promise it's not. D. Bradley Baker, industry legend, he made a website called iwanttobeavoiceactor.com. If you type that into Google, it'll be the first result. And it is an extremely comprehensive list of just like way more than I can go over in these few minutes, of like how to get started, starting from scratch. What do I do when I'm at this point? How do I practice? Blah, blah, blah. Like, it's all there. But the generic formula really is, take workshops and classes and hone your acting skills. Ideally, get to a point where you're doing one-on-ones, because one-on-ones is where you truly can tackle, specific either challenges or instances of improvement. Because when you're in a group setting, not to belittle them, but various people that take those classes, they don't know, or the instructor doesn't know how you are, uh, to what level you are mentally equipped to handle criticism. And so it's going to sound generically positive for the most part. That was so good. Try it like this. You did awesome. Great job. Badass. Let's go ahead to the next person. And there is something to be gained from a group setting because you should be watching others and learning from others. But one-on-ones are where the fine-tuning happens. Uh, and when you have a one-on-one instructor, that's when they can also help you gear yourself toward a demo reel. And that demo reel is your calling card, is the business card for a voice actor to get an agent. The agent is the calling card middleman to getting auditions into the big stuff and the things that you see out there. So that's like the generic thing. But the truth be told, there is no legitimate, like, this is the path. I think we all share similarities in our backgrounds in that, yes, we all have classes. We all, spent years pursuing this. But like, for instance, me, my thing was I got in a car crash. So I had graduated from college. I moved to Texas, or I'd eventually found my way to Texas because that's where Funimation proper was.
Where the entire anime voice acting hub is. Yes.
Exactly.
Okatron, all of it, back in the
Right.
day. Yeah.
So I went there. I took workshops, impressed the right people, started getting classes, or started getting sessions rather. And I was doing DoorDash as my side gig. And I got into a car accident on the Sunday before Thanksgiving. Wasn't my fault. I have the police report to prove that. I'm a
Glad
safe
you're
driver.
okay.
Yeah, no, everyone was great. Thankfully.
It was with Chris Sabat. No, I'm just kidding.
So
Wait.
so
Hold on.
my car is gone. I have no car. I can't DoorDash. So I emailed Funimation. Emailed Okratron 5000, all the people I've worked with, being like, hey, thanks so much for giving me opportunities. I have to move back home. I can't be out here in Texas anymore because I don't have money and my car is gone, so I don't have a means of making money. So they all were so kind and were like, hey, we'll try and get you a couple sessions on the way out. Went to Funimation, did my thing, left. Went to Okratron, which is Christopher Sabat's studio. And I had made friends with the directors. And after I was finished, my director, Donald at the time, he was just like, hey, by the way, this is Chris Sabat's number. He wants you to call him. And I call him, and we end up talking. And he was like, yeah, like, I heard you could use a job, and I can use the talent coordinator. Do you want to work for me? And so we met in person. And that's how I ended up working production for a few years. And through working production, I made a lot of my networking, and I learned from a lot of professionals on the job, learning like how it is that they perform on the spot, and kind of stole from them and put in my back pocket. Okay, this is how I can dub. This is how I do video games. This is how I act. This is etiquette. Be yourself. Don't have to be like a rigid piece of cardboard and like wear a blazer and be like, yeah, thank you sir for the session. Like no. Like I learned like we're all just people. We're all just schmucks. Walking around trying to just do a job while having a good time. But yeah, like it's because of me getting into a car crash and then being hired by Christopher Sabat as a result of that car crash that I kind of like meandered my way a little more fully into the industry. Now, granted, other people were in my position and don't necessarily have the opportunities that I've had. I think there is an element of, right place, right time, and talent. I'm modest too. But, it's like I did everything I could, and, here we are. So
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Christopher Sabat, very nice guy.
Oh yeah, no,
Very
he's
awesome.
I absolutely
That
adore him.
sounds absolutely like him to be like, I heard you need a job. It's very cool that you were able to take a job that is still in the same industry, but a little parallel, and take learning lessons from that and move forward and take it to your next career. That's
Right.
very, very
No,
cool.
for sure. It also helps that they needed a talent coordinator at the time because they don't need one now. I can tell you that for sure. It's not me. I quit that ages ago. We're full-time voice acting now. So, but yeah, no, like,
But not in Boruto.
but not in Boruto. No, not yet.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, there we
Yet.
go. There we go.
Very cool. Well, were you a fan of anime beforehand as a child growing up, or was it something that you kind of stumbled upon? I know you said you moved down to Houston with the idea of voice acting. Was there any anime, if you were a fan, that really made you go, man, I love this franchise. I really want to do it?
So it's like a little bit of column A, column B. I wouldn't say that I was necessarily an anime fan. I grew up in a hood in Miami, and growing up, we watched, the standard, like we saw Naruto and Dragon Ball, and pretending to fight as those characters in
Very
the
big
park,
animes,
and
though.
I mean they're
Yeah.
huge. Yeah, I mean there's a reason they have the
Yes.
rapport that they have. Yeah. And occasionally, like Saturday morning cartoons, I'd see things like Shaman King or whatever. But things I never interpreted as anime. They were just my Saturday morning cartoons. And then after about middle school, I kind of like fell off on that, and I didn't actually start watching anime again until I got into college. Attack on Titan was kind of like the restart, and even then, that was only because of my roommate watching it.
Probably watching that first episode, you walking through, and you're like, what the
Right?
heck
No,
is going
exactly,
on? Yeah.
exactly. It's like, oh, what is this?
Attack on Titan hook.
Right. It slapped. But so I was a fan of anime, but I was never like a fan of anime. It was one of those things where I didn't get into voicing anime because I loved anime. I fell into this because that's what came into my lap. So there is a world where, or a universe in which I wouldn't be voicing an anime. It'd be heck, I wouldn't even be voicing in something. I'd probably be a truck driver or like a nuclear physicist or something. I don't know.
Two very cool things,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
would
yeah,
say.
yeah.
Yeah. But I feel like you got a really cool one as well.
Yeah, yeah,
So,
no, I'd agree.
yeah.
But with this field, even though I wasn't like, some of my peers super hardcore, like I kind of feel like an imposter sometimes because I don't play JRPGs, I don't watch all the shows, I don't know all of the stuff. And, it's just like, oh, like I feel like I should know a little more. I've worked on way more than I've ever watched in my life. I've seen a couple of like the key ones that I should watch, and I watch a little bit of the modern stuff because your job as an actor is to stay current with what the acting styles are, how things sound, and making sure that you're competitive. So I'm a fan, but I'm definitely not like hardcore. Like if you put like Alejandro Saab next to me, like I'd probably just shut the hell up the entire time. Like, all right, you can go off, King. It's all good.
But I think there are some creatives out there that love to ingest media in order to create media. And there's some people who more like to create. It's like a scale. And some people lean more on the output of media versus the ingesting of media.
And for me, I have the ingesting of media. It's just not in the form of anime. Like for me, I watch a lot of like live action stuff. I watch a lot of like horror media. And whether it's American or foreign horror, or even with the live action stuff, like I bet you could count on one hand the number of my peers have seen The Wire, which is a really huge
Very
critically
good show.
acclaimed. It's hugely critically acclaimed, but they're a bunch of weebs. No, I'm joking.
Well, they would say it too, so don't feel bad.
For sure, for sure. But and it's not to have like an elitist like, oh yeah, I watch actors. I am an actor, not an artiste. But it's just like I get my things from just a different form of media. Also music, because you have a lot of like musicians, rappers, singers, where sometimes they just have like inflections, or they say things so weirdly that it sticks out in a way that you're like, I'm gonna put that in my back pocket. Like that might be a character one day. Who knows? Yeah.
Cool. Very cool. But also, by the way, guys, please don't be shy. If you have any questions, line up at that mic. He obviously does not bite. He's very nice.
You don't know that.
Well, he might, but I'll try and stop him.
She can't
so
stop
don't
me.
worry.
I'm like a goddamn chihuahua. All right.
I'll get you.
I'd like to see you try and stop me.
Well, you know what? I feel like you really want to. So, but please don't be shy. If you have any questions, that microphone is there. I will talk to him for this whole 45 minutes. So, and I'm
Don't be
going.
shy. Line up.
Yeah. So one of my favorite questions to ask for voice actors is, do you prefer prelay or dubbing? Because that's such a different world in my mind.
I don't actually have a preference per se, because they're just different things. Obviously with prelay, I bring the entirety of myself into the performance. Whoa,
Someone is singing
you're
their little heart out
singing
over
out there.
there.
Get it.
Exactly.
All right, I get a little back.
And now we're sitting in silence. Let's
Look,
listen.
I'm mesmerized. I want to hear the dulcet tones going on back there. Yeah, with prelay, there is no template. I just do whatever the heck comes to my mind, But with anime, obviously the original, and not even just anime, but like, dubbing in general, the original language lays the foundation for what kind of emotion that you need to be. And that is distracting.
Feeling it right now.
We have Kendall in the side stage going, I don't know how to fix it.
It's all
Go
good.
get the giant hook, pull them off.
No, with anime, there's a foundation that's laid. So as a result of that, it's some people find it hard to find the wiggle room of bringing yourself into a performance, but I think as you do this, the longer that you do this, the more you find those little pockets. I think Ian Sinclair, absolutely phenomenal actor who kind of has been like my foundation in learning how do I bring myself into a role. Even though we have like this confined parameter in that like the Japanese or the Chinese or whoever have already laid it down, can I do something a little different? And we do, There are some times where a line read that I give is a little more comedic or maybe a little more intense because I feel that looking at the script and everything that's surrounding it, like I feel like, when translated, it evokes a slightly different emotion. It works out. So I don't have a preference because at the end of the day, they're both fun and I love working on both. It's just, again, different flavors of ice cream.
How
Do
do
I
you
feel like
choose
pistachio
between-
or do I want strawberry or
Yeah.
whatever,
Yeah, exactly. That's very cool. Very cool. Well, we will go ahead and turn it over to a few of our audience questions. Go ahead, introduce yourself, and ask your question.
My name is Matthew, and I was just wondering, do you have any specific point in a role that you wish you could change something about? Like you wish you could do a voice a little different or a specific line that you wish you had delivered differently?
I feel like the answer is like a half yes. It's a very soft yes. And the reason I say that is because for whatever I did to be in a final product, that had to please the director that gave me that, opportunity at that point. And so for me to say I absolutely abhorred that, I hated it, is to go and say I thought you were an idiot for putting that in. And I would never say that of any of my directors. So the reason I say soft yes is because as you continue growing and learning in your career, you ideally become a better performer. Your instincts become sharper. Your choices become bigger and clearer and stronger. And so I would like, if I could, I would like to revisit just any earlier stuff because then it would give a more veteran approach to the roles rather than the green amateur that I was when I first came in. But nothing in specific that I'd be like, I hated that. It was terrible. Because again, those directors, they listened to it, they fine tuned it in at least they fine tuned it as best as they could in case I couldn't. And they were like, yep, that's going to the DVD or that's going on to airing. And so like, I'm not going to sit there and calling them an idiot, So that's my view on it.
Just something that you felt like you could do better.
Yeah.
They approved, but you thought you could do better later on, kind of.
Right, exactly. It's more just like a revisit to see how would I would do it differently now, rather than I hated it or that I thought it was bad or anything.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Growth
Thank
over
you.
time.
Yeah.
Good to recognize.
Exactly. It's kind of like when you see like artists doing like the same basic drawing, like just to say like of a horse, right? It's like, here's my horse in 2018, here's my horse in 2022, and here's my horse in 2025. It's like it very clearly styles shift, everything shifts, and acting is no different. Our performance skills change over time. We find our own voices, we find our own choices, and as a result, I'd like to see how I would tackle those earlier stuff. But yeah, just different me, different age.
Very cool. Hi there.
Hi, I'm Hayden.
Hayden.
I was just
Hey.
wondering if you had a favorite scene or line that you've done from anything.
Favorite line or scene I've done from anything? That's a hard one. Because I've done a lot of really cool lines. Um, well, let's see. I'm not gonna replicate the line thing because they're loud as hell. But in Hell's Paradise, I play a psychopath named Chobei, which season 2 is coming out in January. For anyone who hasn't seen it, funny enough, actually, Alejandro Saab, who I mentioned earlier, Sayu VTuber, for anyone who knows him, huge one of probably the 2 most popular voice actors right now. He voices the lead character in that show. And for me, I have like one like scene where I actually like kind of like cracked and lost my voice for a little bit, where I'm like slaughtering a bunch of monsters and just screaming out, "I'm my own master, I'm my own god forever." And you love a good like just hack and slash. For Kaiju number 8, who are you calling old man? I'm only 32. That that
Hits me.
that hurts the bones, But then I bend over and I hear the creak and I'm like, okay, maybe I am an old man, 1 foot in the grave. And then for any of the Genshin fans, I feel like one of my classics is "I'm merely a feeble scholar." We had some giggles, all right. But yeah, those would be some of mine.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Oh, last one actually, and this was an improv line. I don't remember if they actually put it in. I play a like a little like shrimp sidekick in a show, and there was a point where like he's sleeping and
In which show?
snoring. It's called Shy.
Okay.
Uh, and so I was just like, hey, can I like ad lib a little bit? And they're like, yeah, sure, why not? And so I ended up like, I don't know if they kept it in, but I ended up just saying, you mean to tell me a shrimp fried this rice? As I'm playing the shrimp. Yeah. It's the little things in life.
Do you prefer the freedom of being able to ad lib, or would you prefer clear and cut directions from a director?
For me, ad lib has to be uh, organic. I like it. I haven't had a single director ever tell me I can't. There are some directors that will let me go a little further than others. But sometimes like the ad libbing, it's just like it's where we truly bring ourselves into the moment, and it's like I understand my character to the point where I am now thinking as them, and I think this is what they would say. And I've done it in almost every single show in the past couple years. And they're not necessarily like ha ad libs. It's more just like, hey, this doesn't sound like something Kafka would say.
Yeah.
This feels more natural, or this feels better, or this sentence structure.
Little tweak.
Yeah, just little tiny tweaks. They don't have to be full blown ad libs. There's a show I did called The Yakuza's Guide to Babysitting.
Yeah.
I play one of the lead characters. His name's Kei Sugihara. He's the comedic punching bag of the show. Half my lines were nothing but ad libs, and those were comedic ad libs. So if you watch that, Jonah Scott plays the lead on that. Again, Jonah Scott, phenomenal voice actor. But yeah, you can, if you want to see some of my ad libbing work, I guess just sprinkled a lot throughout there. Yeah.
Cool. Awesome. Hi there.
Hi, I'm Courtney.
Hello.
What would happen if Kafka, Seth, and Alhaitham were stuck together in a room?
So we know Alhaitham would just be in the corner doing nothing but reading. And if there is no reading, he'll close his eyes. He's not interacting with the other two. And the other 2 characters are just like their baby girl. Like, I feel like they would find like a piece of yarn or something and like start doing, like, they'd make their own fun. I feel like you can actually hit like a whole like Freytag pyramid worth of like stuff with those 2. It's like they become friends, then they hate each other, become enemies, and then they become friends once again, all within 1 hour.
I feel that.
Yeah.
Thank
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Michaela, and
Hello.
I was wondering if you could be fluent in any language. What language would it be?
Oh, and I can only pick one.
You can only pick one, but you could have, native proficiency, and if you did that, you could, maybe voice over for other languages.
Right. I feel like the gut instinct for me is it's kind of a partial coin flip. Japanese for the obvious reason of like it's just literally adjacent to. It's not even adjacent. I work with it, and it's to the point where like I've even like at Anime Expo, I was quite literally with representatives and people from Toho in Japan. We had a translator and working with each other. I'm in a very, very privileged position where with Kaiju number 8, we are very much in communication with each other to the point where it would be amazing if I could just actually speak to them and communicate. The other language, funny enough, it's Chinese, actually. There's just something about the complexity of Chinese that I would love to be able to get a handle and grasp on, especially with the sort of tonality. It is really, 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 really layered, and it's I feel like I'd want one of those too. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just something I like to ask people in, interest in linguistics. So.
Yeah. No, it's one of them is career related, and the other one is depth of complexity, while also still being usable. Because I'm sure there are other really, really, really absurdly complicated languages to learn in my current age. But I'd also like to be able to more readily use it, So I feel like that fits like a nice medium right there. Yeah.
I feel like there is a lot of also good media coming out of China right now, too.
Oh, no,
Like a lot of
100%.
good Chinese cartoons, live actions that do get dubbed here. I feel like it's like another renaissance. I agree.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's great seeing the amount of media coming out of there. And I mean, one of my favorite shows is called Link Click, which
I've heard of it. What is it about?
God, that's so complicated.
Oh, sorry. Okay, I'll look it up, actually.
Yeah, look it up. Alejandro Saab plays one of the leads.
Nice.
Bastard. Look at me, I'm Alejandro. I get cash and everything. No, I'm joking. I love him. I really do. What's your question?
Hi.
Hello. Oh, what's your name, first off?
My name is Kaylee.
Hello.
Question is, if you could be in any sort of media, what media would you want to be in?
If I could be in any sort of media?
Like a franchise, you mean?
Like
Okay.
franchise-wise.
Any sort of franchise.
Let's see. I mean, like a lot of other actors, I want the big stuff. I want to be in Marvel. I want to be in the Sonic franchise. I want to be in TMNT, et cetera, Star Wars and whatever. I feel like if I had to truly like sit down and pick, maybe Sonic would be the thing. And that I think it's just coming from the fact that I really want to voice Sonic. I want to audition.
Roger
for that.
Craig Smith in the background going, no,
Yeah. You've had your time, damn it.
give it up. Go take a vacation.
Look at me, I've had a privileged 30-year career. No, I'm joking. Again, Sonic franchises, I think, I kind of grew up on that a little bit. But yeah, I don't know. I can't think of any like really burning. Because again, I came into this field in my 20s. Like I said, I never grew up with any sort of like acting stuff. And then in terms of as a fan, I've never been a like hardcore fan of anything. I've always just consumed media and been like, I like that. That's fun. I've never been starstruck by celebrities. I never had any of this stuff. So it sucks because like I want to, like I know a lot of my peers would be like, I want this, and I'm like, I can't answer that because I don't have the same like burning like desire. Like I have the burning desire to be in these projects, but I don't have one that's just like, that's the one. That's
You're
my
happy with like what is coming across to you right now, I'm sure.
right.
Yeah.
Living in the moment,
Yeah.
Like because at the end of the day, it's like, don't get me wrong. Aspirations and goals are absolutely necessary, but there is I think, tempered attitude that I have toward these goals and aspirations, where it's just I don't want to set myself up for any sort of like heartbreak. Like I get what I get, and if I don't, then it wasn't meant to be.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello again.
Hello again.
Hey.
So I was just curious. Everybody has a more inside voice that they use when they're alone or in close company. I want to hear it if if you have a different voice, because a lot of people, it's a lot more high pitched. Mine is a bit lower. So I was just curious if you have one, and would you ever consider doing a role in that more deep?
I mean, I do roles in all of my voices. Funny enough, like it just it fully depends, right? Like, I've had those roles where it's like, yeah, I'm getting down here and whatever, like this is that whatever. But then like I have my normal speaking voice and I have my con voice where if you come up to my table, I'm just like, hey, it's so great to meet you
The
because
Snow White voice.
it's like the half customer service, but also this is where I don't damage my vocal cords. And then you have like the upper register stuff where it just goes even higher than that. And in terms of at home, I mean, I would guess like I'm kind of just speaking right here. Like this is kind of just where I exist. I'm very, very low energy. I also don't have anyone to talk to. So I'm like, here I am, And if I'm on Discord or anything, like, you can just hear this and call it a goddamn day. I don't need to overexert myself. Yeah, that's an interesting question. I think I use the full range of everything, but like if I'm alone, I'm just kind of like, I'm just here. Yeah, we're chilling.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, I love your dress. Hi there. You can actually pop that mic out of the holder if you would like. There you go. Perfect.
Okay.
Hello, hello. What's your
Hi,
name?
I'm Twee.
Hello, hello.
Earlier, you mentioned that you sometimes when you're looking at the script, you just kind of look at it and put your own spin on it, just because you feel this is how it should go. How much time do you spend on the original source to prepare to read your lines? You actually listen to the original VA when you're doing your voiceovers? Do you kind of look at the overall content or the characters just to prepare for those?
Yeah, no, like the vast, vast, vast majority of the stuff that I do is verbatim as written by the translators / English script writers that adapt the translations, and fully inspired by whatever I hear when they provide those references. Because not every time are we given the vocal references. Like in the MiHoYo games, for instance, half the time we don't actually have the originals played to us. It is actually us coming at it from our own ideas. But I try not to go too rogue, because those kinds of actors can also be annoying to work with, where it's just like, because there are multiple cogs in the machine, and one of the cogs being the constant script update revisions and checking in like, hey, I don't know if we can say that. We need to check in with the client, et cetera, et cetera. So depending on how tight-knit the project is, I will kind of abstain unless I really am like, hey, I think this would sound better, and then I'll do it. And then most of the time they do say yes, and I do have times where they're like, just pick the other. We're gonna go with the first take. It's like, all right, cool, no problem. At least I gave it to you. Kind of coming in, putting my own twist, spin, etc. It just entirely depends on the moment and whether or not it serves, because sometimes you have an idea, and I'll even preface this by saying I don't think this is going to work, but I still want to try it anyways. One of the examples where we did something that the original languages didn't do, but we kept in for Zenless Zone Zero for Seth, there were occasional points where we put hissing noises in there, like cat hissing. I remember there's a point where it's like, I'm handcuffed behind my back, and a guard comes to touch me, and I just kind of and we played it back, and it fits. I think the original language just had a regular little nonverbal, but it's like, hey, what if we just hissed? Let's just do that. So it's that's what I mean. It doesn't have to be an extreme ad lib. It could just be little flavors that are just enough to bring your own little thing into it that the others don't, but still serve.
That's awesome. Do you?
Go ahead. No, you're
go
fine.
for it.
Go ahead.
Do you ever go back and just re-listen to your version and then other voice actor versions in different language to compare which one you like more? Obviously, you probably like your own, but
No, for the most part. The only time that I will go back and compare stuff is if there is just a really, really, really burning desire to see it and try to improve on the performance. Every now and then, obviously, especially with the Genshin fandom, everyone loves their compare videos and like, here's how they did it, here's how this guy did it, here's how the Japanese did it, and in some of those instances, it'll be like, okay, let me see. Oh, hey, I kind of hit the mark. Great, awesome. But like, the only time I ever revisit any of my stuff is if I truly am in a position where I'm like, okay, I'm stuck right now. I'm feeling very uninspired and I need to get better. So, trying to be objective about your performance and what you did and reviewing it is a very critical part. But, I also have to have time for that. And I don't like living in or dwelling rather. Yeah, I don't like dwelling on those things because at the end of the day, what I said earlier rather, was, the director listened, picked, liked, and pressed it into the final thing. And so there is this sort of like little part of you that's just like, there's really no point in like revisiting this over and over. Like you did the job, you did what was asked of you, and it was deemed satisfactory. So you don't need to constantly, dwell on it. But again, if you were hitting a rut and looking to better your performances, or trying to like, nitpick and stuff, then yeah, by all means, review your work, see what it is that you think you can improve. But yeah, I really, truly, rarely, if ever, actually listen to my own stuff. I hate the sound of my voice.
I was going to ask, I sometimes ask that as well. Do you go back and watch your own work? Because
Nope.
most people, raise your hand if you hate the sound of your own voice. Yeah, I feel like it's a very popular thing.
Yeah, no,
so.
I absolutely abhor it. I hate it. I don't know why anyone likes this. No, I'm joking. Please continue to like it. It pays my bills. Yeah, I'm not a fan of my own voice to the point where back when I was living with my ex, she would play my shows or whatever every now and then. Only the bigger things like kaiju. And I would be like, nope, I am not sitting here. Nope. Go upstairs, go on my computer, or like just take a walk outside for like the next like half hour or something. Like I do not want to hear myself.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, we thank you for it. So.
Thank you.
Unfortunately, we are over on time a little bit, so we will have to make this the last question.
I'll do lightning round. I'll do
okay,
lightning.
yeah, perfect.
Real quick,
as long as you're all right with it,
yeah,
we are okay.
Name a question.
Whoa, sorry. Was there any particular role that you found to be most fulfilling, not necessarily paying more, but that you felt the most
for me,
satisfied with?
and I know it sounds like I'm shilling my current show, but legitimately Kafka for Kaiju number 8. He has emotion, action, comedy, the whole gamut, and he is the comedic relief of his own show, on top of being the shonen protagonist. So I get everything that I want as a performer in that role. Thank you. All right. Hey.
No pressure. Got to make this last one good.
I just wanted to know if, with Kaiju 8 being like kind of a bigger production with a lot of like acclaim and like international artists for like the OP and stuff, if that's like stressful at all compared to other projects, or
It's only slightly. It was more stressful in the beginning, just because I know that there was like so much involvement in there, so much advertisement, so much like expectations. But once you're in the groove of things, like I've accepted like this is the character that I portrayed. I am English Kafka, and therefore there is no more stress on that end. So yeah, no, you just kind of like you learn to live in it.
yeah. Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
And I know you live in the world of NDAs, but is there anything that is coming up and coming out soon that you would like the audience to keep their eyes or ears peeled for that you can talk about?
The only things that have been confirmed,
Season 2,
obviously,
Hell's Paradise.
Yep, season 2 of Hell's Paradise coming out in January. If you haven't seen it, go watch Hell's Paradise. It is a very good show. And then also, if you have not seen Kaiju number 8, please go watch it. It is near and dear to my heart, pouring my soul into it, and everyone is doing a fantastic job. And season 2 is almost finished airing, finale in a couple weeks, so perfect time to start binging.
Well, everybody, please give a warm round of applause for Nazeeh Tarsha. Thank you so much for joining us. We're going to do a quick stage selfie. So if everybody would like to stand up, come close to the stage, not on the stage, but close to the stage. We're going to take a quick picture together.